We just wait for another 2 minutes or oh wait, it's 59. Never mind.
This is a processing principle. And then next week, yeah, they came today and then.
Why are you laughing? Mine expression instituted sinking on its package. Newly arrived sinking. Like
Oh, they say she.
yeah.
Oh.
These are my top priority lists to give away because obviously they're Halloween stickers and it's November now. These are also so funny. Give them back. Give them back. Give them back. Give them back. You can keep these. Bro. Keep it.
Yeah, that was a lot of people. Yeah, that's something that's honestly I find it's like
I'm ready for it gets better. And it's better. Okay. I think they're like skin. Wow. Wow.
I know. Yeah. This is no. Let's see. I finished like 20 minutes ago.
No. Wait, you finished all of them?
Good question. I don't know. Maybe. The shirt. It's not they will. Yeah. I don't think there's like marketing there. There's so many. So
Oh, I remember that.
yeah, the car. Yeah, no, we got one. Wait, it's weird. It's getting resolved and everything for a hopefully they didn't say what last year, but it was something like, oh, how do you rate the H5? No, it wasn't. One way or another. How do you rate the H5? After the guard. It's a line. Like, how do you see them? I don't know. I didn't realize the E. So there's the potential that we have. I think more other people think that. Right. That's it. Average ACM board. But yeah. Minimum rating students are pretty hard. Like, yeah, because I'm just more.
I think we can get started. So, hey guys, I'm Shiyu. I will be your presenter for this Hackschool workshop session. We will be talking about navigation. So, if you use the ACM membership portal, this is the code for our event today. It's called Hackschool. So, if you want to get points, just go ahead and enter this code into your portal. All right. So here is another look at our curriculum. So currently we're at week 5 and this is our 4th session. We'll have a general recap of what we have talked about. And we also have 4 other sessions. So another note on notes is that we don't recommend coding along during this workshop just because we'll have 5-minute checkpoints. And also after the session, you can also just stay here and like work on your own website. So, and also our hack tutors and our hack officers will come help if you have any questions. Here is the link to the slides and also a link to the demo. Due to some technical issues, the demo for this workshop has not been uploaded to the GitHub repo, but we'll fix that, I guess, today or tomorrow, I guess. Yep. But like, this is the link to the slides. Cool. So here is our agenda for today. So at first, we'll talk about the motivation for navigation. Like, what is navigation? Why do we need navigation? And after that, we're going to just go through some setups, some like pages and some introduction to my repo. And after that, we're going to take a short detour and talk about JavaScript objects, arrays, and mapping. And finally, we're going to use what we learned and finally just go ahead and link our pages. So have fun at work today. Okay, so here is a recap of what we have covered so far. So during our first session, we talked about HTML and we talked about how to structure web pages using HTML. We also talked about how to use CSS to style your website and how to like, lay out all the elements on your website. And also during session 1, we talked about how you can add a lot of interactivity and functionality to your website. And as for session 2, we talked about React. So we also like introduced how you can use React to create reusable and customizable components. They're really useful. And for last week, we talked about events and states, and we introduced how we could handle a lot of user interactions by monitoring and like also looking at the events and state of our components and also other elements. So if you have any questions about any one of these topics, I would recommend going over the slides and recordings if the recording is available. I know like we don't have the recordings for all of these sessions, but we have very detailed slides. So if you just follow the slides, you will just as well like understand all these topics. Cool. So we can already make a super cool website now, given that we can already style our pages, we can already like handle user interactions, but there is still one problem. That is everything is just cluttered on one page. So this is the the image that I found when I just Googled everything just cluttered on one page. And as you can tell, this is not a super delightful image. This is not a super delightful website. Everything is just, cluttered, and you don't know how you can find the information that you need. You don't know like where to focus on when you're like checking out this web page. And so this is just really a bad design. But how can we solve this? How can we like have a lot of information on our website, but at the same time, we don't make it as cluttered as this? So our solution is to make multiple pages. Well, making multiple pages itself is easy. You just create multiple JSX files. You just create multiple files, like one file for each page. But we also need a way to jump between these different pages. So in order to do that, this is where navigation will come into play. So I have the screenshot for some websites over here, and on the top it's my UCLA, and as you can see, there are many tabs and many links that you can click on that will lead you to different pages. So I believe in a few weeks we will all just click on the classes and go to Class Planner to enroll in classes. And also here is our ACM Hack website, and I can just pull it up right now. I don't know if I have the quick access. Okay, I don't think I do. Okay, I'll just Google it. Cool. So as you can see here, we have a navigation bar, and if you click on the different links, it will redirect you to different pages. Like we have the hack events, introducing Hackschool and Hack Plan. We also have about, which is basically who we are and introducing the team. So that is basically a very typical example of how navigation comes into play in a website. Oh, sorry. And in the end, I also have a screenshot of ANF. Obviously, you can like just click on these different tabs and different links to go to different sections to look for the products that you need and the progress that you're looking for. Cool. So now that we know we need a way to jump between these pages, unfortunately, the core React library that we've been using so far does not come with a page routing mechanism by default. So what that means is just basically with what we have right now, you cannot do that. You cannot do navigation. So we need to use React Router. React Router is basically a library that's built on top of React that enables navigation by handling routes. So that might sound a little bit complicated, but basically what it means is that it's just something extra, something additional that we can use to build navigation between pages. So this is the logo of the React Router. I am not super sure why they chose that logo, but there we go. It's just a logo. Cool. So that's our motivation for navigation and how we're gonna implement navigation. I know we haven't like really gone into the details of React Router, but we'll do that in later part of this workshop. So like, are there any questions so far? All right. So we'll talk about like how you install that library in a second, but do you want to take one of these stickers? I'm like really hoping to give these away because as you can see, these are Halloween stickers, and obviously it's November now. And I have to wait until next Hackschool. Like next Hackschool next year to give them away. So you want to before? Yeah. Oh, also just a side note, I almost forgot. We'll be having pizza at the end of this workshop. So like not in the middle of this workshop. So if you guys want pizza, you guys are gonna stay here until the end of this workshop. All right. Cool. So yeah, that was our motivation for navigation. Now we're gonna check out some setups. So as you can see, what do you need to do to install this extra thing is to run npm install react router DOM in your terminal. So I will pull up my project right now. Okay, I think. Oh, I thought I had to pull it up. Never mind. Okay. So I have my project directory project folder open. So if I want to install React Router DOM, I'm just gonna copy this command and paste it in my terminal and press enter. So because I have installed this library before this workshop, I'm not gonna run it again, but if you haven't, just go ahead and execute that command. And also just a side note that if your project is still running, i.e. your website is still running, when you're like trying to execute this command, you might need to first stop your website first. So to do that, you just press Control-C. It's Control-C on Mac and also on Windows. Okay, so it's the same keystroke. So that was how you install React Router DOM. Next, create a folder under source to store all our pages. So I have my project directory pulled up, and I can show you how my project is structured right now. I'll like make it larger. All right, so as you can see now, I have 3 folders: node modules, public, source. We'll go into source, and I have created a pages folder under the source folder. So it's inside source, and you create another page folder. Of course, when you create it, it's empty, but the next step is to populate the folder with different pages. Now that will take a little bit of time, and also it's not something that we focus on during this workshop. It's mainly the stuff that we talked about during past workshops. So I have all these pages prepared already, but you guys are just welcome to stay here if you want to like just populate your folder with your own code, I guess, own pages. So these code, we're gonna talk about them in a second, but just to like move around and like actually look at this source folder a little bit, I have the images that we're gonna use in a second. I also have the styles for all my pages. So these are basically just CSS. And if you're not super comfortable with CSS, I would recommend going over the slides for our first workshop. And I have CSS files for separate pages, and that's all in my styles folder. And I also have components we talked about in our second session about React. So I have a component for a cat profile. I have a component for a dog profile. They're almost the same, but I made 2 just because I want to. Yeah, so that was my current project folder. And basically, as you can tell, I was trying to make a pet website. Basically, there are two kinds of pets I was trying to introduce. I was trying to introduce dogs and also cats, therefore the cat profile and dog profile. So this is the homepage. Basically, it just says the header, welcome to Pet Lovers website, a short paragraph, explore a collection of adorable pets, and also 2 links, doggos and cattles, which don't really work right now because, you know, like we haven't talked about building navigation yet. This is just not a link. This is not really a link. This is just plain text actually in my code. So as you can see here, this is just plain text. This is a element in a list. A list is inside like the li element. They're like list items. Cool. So that was my homepage, and I also have 2 other pages. The first page is the cute dogs that I know, and I display the dog profiles for the dogs I know. And the first dog is called Dobby. He's actually my roommate's dog. He's 3 years old. He's a Pomeranian. He's super cute. He's super cute. That's all I can say. And the second dog is also my friend's dog. His name is Piggy. He's also 3 years old. He's a poodle. So right here, I have a back button, which again, unfortunately, doesn't work right now because we haven't built a navigation and it's just a text. And that is dog page. I also have a cat page, cute cats that I know. I have 2 cats. The first one is Bonkai. He's actually our officer Jenna's roommate's cat. I only know that he's called Bonkai. I don't know how old is he. I don't know what breed is him. So my limited knowledge is displayed on this website. And also for the second cat, unfortunately, this is just a random cat that I encountered when I was traveling over the summer. So I don't know its name, I don't know its age, I don't know its breed. So I still put it as one of the cute cats that I know, but as you can tell, I don't really know it. Okay. Yeah. So again, back button doesn't work. I can show you the code that I write. These are something that we're gonna cover again in details in like 5 or 3 minutes. So don't worry if you find it maybe hard to understand. So yeah, I basically just imported the component and imported the photos and everything from here, we'll just like talk about it in a second. Cool. So yeah, that was our setup, and I hope you enjoyed my website. If you didn't, that's fine. But we're now gonna like take a short detour and talk about JavaScript. So these topics, objects, arrays, and mappings are actually already covered in our slides for our session 2, but we didn't really like cover them. We didn't like really talk about them. Those slides were actually skipped. But if you have like looked at the slides and you have like did some research and you actually know what objects, arrays, and mappings are, then you're chilling, but we're just gonna cover it now. So JavaScript objects. Objects in JavaScript are like big buckets that hold specific properties. So right here, I have created a object. I have named the object Dobby. So inside the Dobby object, I have a lot of properties. For example, its name property is just a string Dobby, and the age property is 3, and breed is the string property Pomeranian, and image is the property Dobby photo. So the reason why Dobby photo over here is not a string is that I have imported the Dobby photo as kind of a variable over here, so I can just use it directly in my code. So if you don't have that Dobby photo image imported, this will just throw in an error, so it wouldn't work. Also for JavaScript objects, we can access these properties of a body of an object by using the dot notation. Basically, the general syntax will be object name dot property name. So let's say here I'm trying to access the age of the Dobby object that I've just created. I'll just do console.log Dobby.age. So console.log is a print statement. What it will print out is the age, the value of the age property of the Dobby object. And as you can see here, Dobby.age, age is 3, so it will output 3. And I can actually just try it out in one of my web browser consoles. So I'm gonna open a console and I can just copy the code over here so that I don't need to type that much, and I'll do that'll be equals to nice. So yeah, as you can see, it doesn't work because Dobby photo is not defined. I've talked about that, so I'm just gonna remove it because I don't want to do some import on my web browser. It's just weird. Okay, so now I have 3 properties for this object: name, age, and breed. And I'll just type console log. Cool. So basically what it does is it outputs 3. So that is how we can access the value of a property of our object. But that is not the only way. You can also use the bracket notation. Basically, you just do object name, bracket, quote, property name, quote, bracket. So the same example is that I have the same Dobby object over here, and I want to, as before, access its value of the age property. So I just do console log Dobby square bracket quote age quote square bracket. It should output the same value, and we can actually just try this out. Please go away. This is annoying. All right, so I have the object declared already, so I don't have to declare it again. I'll just do a square bracket. And as you can see here, we have the 3 number displayed and printed again. So that is basically the 2 equivalent way of how you can access the value of the property of an object. That's kind of hard to read, but okay. So that was objects, and we also have arrays. So arrays are like lists of different elements, and they're pretty much they're very similar to arrays in other languages. If you have like learned arrays in C++ or Python, so basically they're just a collection of different elements. And as you can see here, I have a array called dining hall array, and what it has is basically just a set of strings, and each string represents one of the dining halls that's here at UCLA. So I have 5 elements in this array. I have Ronde, the Nav, Bplay, Epicurean, and Feast. Array elements can be basically any element, any type of elements, and so we can have an array of objects too. So right here, I have an array called doggles. The doggles has two objects. Each object is separated by a comma, and each object is enclosed in a set of curly brackets. So if you just look at the upper half of this screenshot, you can see here it's basically just the same object that I have defined before. So it's a dog object with name Dobby, age 3, breed Pomeranian, image Dobby photo. And here I have basically another object with the same structure, but with different values of their property. So it's Piggy has a different name, the same age, a different breed, and also a different image. Also, by the way, this is okay. Yeah, I guess you guys have seen it, but anyways, this is a picture of Piggy. Yep. I think you can. I have never tried it before. But I can look more into it. I think objects are just like any other elements when you're doing array destructuring. Oh, yes, take me. Yeah. Oh, okay. So const and lets, right? So basically, when you're using lets to declare a variable, you mean that that variable is mutable. Basically, you can change the value of that variable later on. But if you're like declaring it with const, basically you cannot change it. You can like declare a new variable, but like you're not allowed to modify the content in this like array. No. I can like show you my code where I actually have this array. So I have this array over here, and I actually declare it as const because in the later part of my code, I'm not trying to like change any of this array, like change its number of objects, change any of its properties. I'm just trying to read the values inside this array. So this doesn't make sense right now, but we'll talk about it in a second. But it's because that I don't want someone else, or I don't want my program to change the value of this array. So I declare it like in the first place as const. So if I just try to like change the value, it will just throw an error, and it will just like scream at you like you're not allowed to change it. All right. Okay. Nice. More stickers to give away. I'm not gonna throw it. It's just not very civilized. Say something that a lot of people. Oh, right. Okay, so oh sure.
Is there like every element inside it?
No, you can do an array of strings, integers, objects. Basically, you can like mix them all together. You just in like actual real life. I guess if you actually need that, you can do that, but I cannot come up with an example that I've done before, but you can do that. You're allowed to do that. It's not some like syntax error, I guess. Yeah.
Attributes of the object. So we need to like declare what type they are. Like for example, for name, do we have to declare somewhere that it's like string name?
No, because JavaScript is very loosely typed, so you don't like. I don't know if you guys have like looked at Python code, but like it's kind of similar to Python. It's just that when you declare a variable, you don't need to declare what type of variable it is. And yeah, so it's not like C++, if that's why you're interested. I guess. Okay. All right. Okay, any other questions? Alrighty. So now we're gonna talk about a function for arrays. So it's basically the dot map square bracket function. What it does is that it calls a function on every item of an array and it returns a new array with the results of each of those function calls. That is very hard to read, I know that, but like we'll do a example right now. So right now I have a array called numbers. Basically, these are just four numbers, 65, 44, 12, and 4. And I am calling the dot map function on the numbers array. And what I am passing in to the map function is another function called my function. So I have the definition of my function over here. My function takes a argument called num. Basically, it just takes an argument, it takes a number as an input, and it will return num times 10. It will just return 10, yeah, not num times 10. It's just okay. So when I'm calling this dot map function on the numbers, what it does is that it goes through each element inside this array, and it's called my function on that element. So what we do here is we first look at the first element in the array, and we say, hey, what is the value of my function on 65? So as you can see, 65 times 10 is 650. And we're like, okay, that's good. We'll keep that in mind. And we'll move on to the next element. We'll call my function on 44, and 44 times 10 is 440. And we'll say, okay, that's also great. We'll keep that in mind too. And yeah, so I haven't done the slide. I haven't made the slides for the rest two elements, but I'm pretty sure you guys have like a rough idea of what it will do. So in the end, we will have created a new array with the results of each of the function calls. So here we have the 650 that we've done, basically just 65 times 10. We also have the 440 and 120 and 40. So the results is stored here and another array called new array. So that was our mapping function. I'll repeat what I have said again, just because this is kind of a complicated idea. But what dot map does is that it will iterate through the array, and for every element in the array, we will perform the function on that element, and we will store the results of like each of these function calls in a new array. So basically basically it's just like we're producing a new array from an old array. Go ahead.
So is this function for array?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Okay.
With an array of strings, if you have like words, like more strings with the whole array of strings.
Wait. I'm not sure what you mean. No, just
did you like add more like strings on to like the previous array of strings using that?
So what you're doing with the map function is you're not like changing the original array. You're like making a new array with those changes from the old array. So like you see here, I am declaring the numbers array as const because I'm not planning to change the array anyway. I'm just yeah, and that will depend on what you do here in my function. You can like declare the function however you want. And if you want the string to append, yeah, you just like return the string with the appended string. So that's basically the same, yeah.
If you call map on a constant array, does the new array have to be constant?
Oh, doesn't matter. It's up to you. Yep.
Does the dot map function work for like multi-dimensional arrays, like 2D arrays or 3D?
Yeah. All right. I forgot who asked questions, but please volunteer to take away these stickers, please.
Oh, squishy. Oh, I forgot to. You can hear both. You can take all of them. I'll ask you to take all of them. There, take that too.
We're gonna go open.
Who else? Yes, I think. All right.
Okay. So I hope it was a clear introduction of the array.map function. And now we're just gonna use that map function on something more complicated. We just said that JavaScript arrays can be an array of objects. So we're just gonna use that. Here I have an array of objects, basically the old friend, the doggo array. And I am calling the map function on the doggos array. And what I am doing here is that I'm like going through each dog in a doggo array, and I am creating a dog profile component based on the properties of that dog. So here, as you can see, for each doggo and doggos, I am creating a dog profile we'll skip key for now. We'll talk about it later. We're giving the dog profile component a name that is same as the doggo.name, and the age that is doggo.age, and the breed that's doggo.breed. So this index here is something different. As you can see, it's not actually a property name inside our array, but we're basically just we have to have it because it's like required by JavaScript syntax. Basically, every time you use map, you need a unique value for each of the element that you're trying to build. So here we are taking the index of the object. Basically, what index is like in an array, the first element has index 0, the second element has index 1, and so on and so forth. So we're just taking that index as a unique value to serve as the key, because every element in an array has a different index. There's no way you can have like two values in the same position. So that will guarantee the uniqueness of our key. So we are using that as our key. And yeah, so we're kind of rendering a component for each element, for each object inside this array. So in the end, we'll have two dog profiles, and as you can see here, yeah, I have two identical components for two dogs. By identical, I mean not the information is identical, it's like the overall structures and the overall like colors, layouts, fonts and stuff, they're like identical. Okay, so I am ready for questions. I guess maybe you need to look at this code for some time to digest it. But I have another example because I also have the cattle page. What I am doing here is, again, I am declaring an array of objects. This time, each object represents a cat, but they basically have the same properties. They have they have name, they have age, they have breed, they have image. And also here, it's just another cat, right? So this is another array. And right here, we are calling the map function in the cat array. We are taking each object inside the cat array, and we are trying to build another component. We're trying to build and we are trying to render or display on our page a component, a cat profile component. So the cat profile component has name, has age, has breed, has image. It also has a key. We're using the index of the object as the key. Okay, so that was basically just, I basically explained the same code again. So I guess I'll let you guys look at this code for a while and see if there are any questions. Yeah.
So the index parameter on the code in the right side is basically like telling the computer which index in doggos it's trying to access, right? So like if index is 0, then like we know we're working with .b.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
index is 1.
That's right.
Then okay.
Yeah. I can't believe that. All right, or if there's like something that you guys want me to like explain further or explain again. Yep.
What is a dog profile?
Oh, dog profile is the component that I've pre-written just because like I don't have that time to write it like here. And yeah, so dog profile is a component. It will take some props. Basically, it will like display the image. It will also display the name. It will display the age and the breed. So I think if that's the part that you're a little bit uncomfortable about, I would like recommend like going over the React session. So yeah, this is a pretty basic component. Okay, I shouldn't have said that, but okay, sorry. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it took me some time to write it, I guess. I was working on it at like 1. I was like, bro, okay. Yeah. End of story. Okay. Any other questions? No. Okay. Okay. Cool. So yeah, I have basically written what I want to say about the example here so that you can like actually look at these words when you're like revisiting or like reviewing the slides. But basically map iterates over the Douglas array. For each object in the array, we render a component with several properties, including key, name, age, breed, and image. Okay. So you can write a for loop. Like it's basically the same way as you would do it in C++. Yeah, and what's your follow-up question?
Just like
yeah, we'll like do the same. Basically, they will implement the same functionality, but the reason why we're using like the mapping function over here is that it will take less code, and the number of like code that you write in JavaScript is like very important, and like we want to like use as little code as possible. So like that's the reason why you can see a lot of like strange way like how you define a function, how you like use mapping that you cannot really see. Okay.
Actually, you can't use for loop.
Oh. Okay.
The way React works is that everything needs a return value. Right?
Oh.
So like a for loop is never return value. So you need maps since that return thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess I said that because I was like looking at the JavaScript tutorial and like they basically were just saying, okay, it's just a for loop. And I guess you cannot like do that in React, I guess. Yeah. Ah, I see. Okay. Okay, that's good to know because I never actually tried using a for loop. Maybe I should just try every possible way and see which ones would work and which ones wouldn't. I guess. Yeah, that's okay, good to know. All right, so yeah, that's basically the standard practice if you want to like do this kind of stuff when you're using JavaScript. I didn't try other methods. They might work, they might not, but this is the standard practice. Okay. Are you good? We good? Okay. So now we are good to go. We have our setup already. We have our pages. At least I have my pages already. And we have our JavaScript knowledge already. So now we're good to go, and we're actually gonna link our pages. So we've installed React Router probably 30 minutes ago, but it's time that we use them. So to use them, go to source app.jsx, and it's here for me. And as you can see here, I don't have anything inside it right now because I'm gonna just code it here. Can you guys like actually see it in the back? Okay, cool. I can also, okay, yeah, that works better. So I have a blank app right now. And what we're gonna do is that we're gonna import the following components of the React Router DOM. So we're gonna import 3 of them: browser, router, routes, and routes. So I'm gonna do is just over here, import browser, router, routes, route. React router DOM. So that was our import. And we also need to import our pages. So I have 3 pages right here inside my page folder, inside my pages folder. And I'm just gonna import them one by one. I'm gonna import. I have home from /pages/home. Oh, that was not a. Okay. So I am gonna repeat that again for doggles. Adults. All right, so that was our import. That was all of our import. Basically, you do import components and import pages, and now we're good to go, and we're gonna actually write something inside our app. So the first thing that you're gonna do is to like wrap everything that inside your app component within, sorry, I should say browser router. Within the browser router, and I'll just get rid of these things and browser router and browser router. So we're gonna write everything else inside this pair of browser router tags. So inside the browser router, we have router. Wait, this is not very accurate. I think I changed the slides, but for some reason it didn't save correctly. Anyways. So inside browser router, we have another pair of tags called routes. And inside routes, very surprisingly, we have route. Oh, done that. So we're gonna assign each page a route. So we have 3 pages. So I'll have 3 route components. And each route component has 2 attributes. The first one is path. It's basically just the URL that's gonna append to the end of the URL of your original website. And another attribute is the element. It's basically the imported page component. So here I have the first, it's not like that. Okay, so my first page is my home page. So I'm gonna just do path equals to / because it's my home page, so I don't have like anything else besides my home URL or like the original URL of my website. And I'm just gonna do element equals to So that's my homepage, and I will repeat this process for my other 2 pages as well. So I'll just copy paste them. So I want the URL for my doggles page to be /doggles. And the component to be also doggles. And carrots. Cool. So I believe that is all you need to do for your app.js. And we can actually just try it out just to make sure it works. So to run my app, I'm just going to do npm run dev. Copy that and go to I'm just going to create a new window. Get rid of this. And as you can see here, I have my homepage. But if you go ahead and click on these 2 tags, it wouldn't do anything because we have more work to do to make them work. But I have my homepage already. And if you see, if you look at the URL, there's nothing after the original localhost comma 5173. And if you like try to add a slash, it will just not redirect, it will just lead you to the same page. So that was our URL here, like nothing other than the original URL. So yeah, that was our app.jsx. And now we're gonna go ahead and do something to my other pages. So we can use the link component to visit the routes that's specified in app.jsx. All right. In app.jsx, in basically anywhere inside your project. So to do that, you just first import the link component. You do import link from React Router DOM. And I believe I need links here because I want to click on the doggles and catalyst text, and I want them to like redirect me to the separate, like to the respective pages. So to do that, first I need to do an import. It wouldn't work if you don't do the import. It will just throw in an error. Import link. React Router DOM. And after that, we're going to change this line of text to be wrapped by a pair of link tags, and we're just gonna do link to /doggles. This /doggles was the URL that we specified inside app.jsx. So the route specified in app.jsx. So to do that, we'll add the I should not do that next time. Link to dot or to slash. Oh. Interesting. Okay, just do /doggles. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing to the catalyst text. Just gonna copy paste it over here. All right, and I believe it will work right now. And as you can see here, I can enlarge it. It's currently a link that we can click on. And if we actually click on the link, it will bring us to the right page, the doggles page. And if you look at the URL here, it currently says localhost, 5173/doggles. That was the URL that we specified inside app.jsx and also in our link component. And it will also work if we go to the catalyst page. And yeah, that's pretty cool. But there's another problem that the back button doesn't work right now. So if we want to like go back to the home page, we need to, use the browser, or we can just change the URL. But it's not that convenient, and we actually want to implement the back component, the back button, or like the back link. So we're gonna do the same thing to our catalyst page and our doggles page. We're gonna first do an import. Oh. React Router DOM. And now we're ready to change our back text into something called link to. So right here, we're trying to go back to the home page. So our home page doesn't have any trailing URLs. So it's just a slash. And okay, that's the catalyst page. And I'm just gonna do the same thing to the doggles page. I am gonna copy paste it over here. And don't forget to do the import. Import link from React Router. Oh. Done. Cool. So now let's look at our website and click here. And it's our doggles page. And we click on the back button and we're back to our home page. How nice is that? Also, we can try out. What do you mean? Okay, we also go to the catalyst page and back. Voila, we're back to our homepage. So yeah, that's basically, wait, where's my slides? Okay. So yeah, that's basically how I would implement navigation for my project. It's a simple project. It only has 3 pages. And so like in a real world situation, there might be like more complicated situations. Maybe you need to like have multiple layers. You need to like click on this link and then click on the next link and just a number of different links. And in that case, the navigation will be more difficult to implement, but these will probably just, this is enough for building a like normal website. You don't need a super complicated navigation system for a website because that's just kind of, sometimes this may just be disgusting. It's hard for the like users to navigate through your website. So yeah, so now we're gonna have a 5-minute checkpoint for you guys to work on your website and also like building the navigation between pages for your website. And I guess this is also our first and final checkpoint because our as you can see here, our like this session is a lot of like concepts and also a lot of setups. So there's like not that much space where I can like insert these checkpoints. But you're welcome to just stay here and work on your own website. And where's our pizza? Oh, nice. We have our pizza in the back. So okay. All right, time to work on your own website, and thank you guys for coming. All right.